Remember when we thought the worst was behind these Bears? Well, I've got news for you, folks, and I'm not sure if you're ready for what's coming. Because while you were enjoying your bye week, munching on your deep dish and thinking everything's under control, I was digging, analyzing every move, every little detail this organization doesn't want you to know. And what I found? It's got me losing sleep. For real. First off, we've got a group of players who were supposed to be our saviors, but the stats don't lie. And I'm about to hit you with numbers that'll knock you off your chair. Second, there's a player Poles brought in with a massive contract, a huge investment, and honestly, his numbers on the field are, let's just put it like this, worrying. And third, and this is the one that's really stressing me out, our offensive line is shuffling guys like we're playing Jenga, and with Caleb Williams back there, this isn't a game, this is about his future. This is about our future. So I gotta ask, how much longer are we gonna wait before admitting there are some real problems here that need fixing? Because I'm about to be brutally honest with you today. No sugarcoating, no excuses. Just the straight up truth you need to hear. And if you stick around till the end, I'm gonna ask the one question nitrogen monoxide 1 in Chicago wants to ask, but everyone's thinking. So if you really love these Bears, if you actually want to know where we're headed, don't move. Hit that subscribe button right now because things are about to heat up. What's happening with the Bears defense right now? Absolutely unacceptable, period. I'm not gonna tiptoe around it because you deserve the truth. Dennis Allen came to Chicago with all the credentials, with experience. Known as one of the most respected defensive coordinators in this league. And let me ask, what's happening now? These numbers we're seeing aren't just bad, they're historically a WFUL. Listen to this, 106.4.5 rushing yards allowed per game. 106.4.5. You know what that means? We're the worst run defense in the entire NFL through the first 4 weeks. But wait, it gets even uglier. We're giving up 6.15 yards per carry. Let me put it in perspective. We're on pace to have the worst run defense in the entire history of the Chicago Bears franchise. Let me ask, what happened to the monsters of the Midway? Where's that defensive tradition that defines us? When I think of the Bears, I think of Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher, dudes who made Soldier Field shake with every hit. And now, teams are running all over us like we're a JV squad. But here's what has me actually pissed off. It's not just the total yards. 17 explosive runs allowed for more than 10 yards. 17. Only the Buffalo Bills, who basically have no defense, have given up more, with 21. You know how many Jacksonville's given up? 2. Jacksonville's allowed to, and we've given up 17. That's not bad luck. That's not injuries. That's fundamentals. Let me break down exactly what the problem is and why I'm so fired up. When you're giving up explosive runs, it's not because the other team's better athletes. It's because our guys aren't in the right spots. They're not executing their assignments. And they're not finishing tackles. And that's on the coaching staff. I still believe Dennis Allen is a good coordinator. I really do. But the numbers are screaming that the communication between him and the players just isn't there. And here's the most frustrating part. We've got the talent. Montez Sweat is here on a massive contract. DeMarcus Walker's here. Tremaine Edmonds is in the middle. So let me ask you, if we've got the names, if we've got the talent, why are we getting these results? It's either the players aren't buying into the system, or the system's not being taught the way it needs to be. Now we've got Washington on Monday Night Football. Jaden Daniels and Jaquarii Kroski-Merritt. Did you see what they did to the Chargers? 163 rushing yards to touchdowns, 28 carries. The Chargers have one of the top run defenses around, and Washington ran right over them. So imagine what they're gonna try to do to us, the worst run defense out there. I'll say this, and listen close, if we don't fix these issues now, if we don't use this bye week to drill the fundamentals, tackle better, and get our assignments right, this season's gonna slip away fast. Because it doesn't matter how good Caleb Williams plays, if the defense is giving up 30 points a game because we can't stop the run, we're not winning games. Simple as that. And here's what's keeping me up at night. This isn't new. We saw these issues in week 1, week 2, weeks 3 and 4. Sure, we won the straight. But who'd we beat? Teams with no real run games. What's gonna happen when we run up against teams that can run the ball? After Washington, it's New Orleans with Alvin Kamara. Then Baltimore, even if they're banged up. Then Cincinnati. These teams are gonna watch the film, see all our weak spots, and go right after 'em. So I gotta ask, Does Dennis Allen have enough time to fix this? I say yeah, I believe he does, but we need to see improvements right now. No waiting till week 10 or 12 to see progress. We need changes versus Washington. We need linebackers filling the right gaps. We need defensive ends to keep containment. We need solid tackles. And yeah, I know Kyler Gordon and Austin Booker are coming back from injury. That'll help. Gordon's one of the best slot corners in the league when healthy. He can cover the run, blitz, change how Allen calls games. Booker gives us another pass rush presence. But let's be real, thinking the guys will fix a system-wide problem across the whole defense is just being naive. This runs deeper than personnel. This is about discipline, about getting the basics right, about every single player doing their job every snap. I'm not saying we need to hit the panic button yet, but this is a giant red flag. Because historically, teams that can't stop the run don't win championships. They don't make the playoffs. They don't even compete in January. And you know what really bugs me? While we're struggling to stop the run, look at our division rivals. The Packers have a rock-solid defense. The Vikings' defense looks good. Even the Lions, who always live on offense, have gotten better on D. And here we are, the Chicago Bears, with the richest defensive tradition in the NFL, bottom of the league against the run. So listen up, this needs to change. Ben Johnson needs to sit down with Dennis Allen and have a real talk. They gotta figure out what's wrong, why players aren't executing. And they gotta fix this now. If not, if we keep heading down this road, nothing we've done to improve the offense with Caleb Williams is gonna matter. Nothing is gonna matter if we can't stop the run. And if you thought the defensive issues were troubling, wait till you hear this. Because now we gotta talk about someone who was supposed to be part of the solution. Someone Ryan Poles paid real money to come here and be a game changer. I'm talking about Dayo Odeyingbo, when Poles signed Odeyingbo from the Colts. I was pumped. Seriously, I thought we had something special. This guy came out of Indy with solid stats. 11.9% QB pressure rate in 2024. Those are good numbers, folks. That's what you need from a defensive end making millions. I thought Montez Sweat would finally have some help. We'd have a pass rush to put real fear in quarterbacks, but here are the real numbers. The ones nobody wants to talk about. Just 1 sack in week 1. And that was against a backup offensive tackle. 1 sack. And since then, in 3 games. No, how many more sacks Odeyingbo's got? 0 sacks, folks. For total QB pressures in those 3 games, his pressure rate is 8.2%. That's a massive drop from what he was putting up in Indy. Let me ask you, and I want you to actually think about this, what's going on here? This isn't a guy without talent. This isn't a guy who doesn't know ball. Odeyingbo showed in Indy that he could disrupt, get after the quarterback, make plays. So why is it not happening in Chicago? Here's my take, and listen up because this matters. I think there are 2 main problems. First, Dennis Allen's defensive scheme is not what Odeyingbo played in Indianapolis. Gus Bradley, the Colts' old DC, runs a scheme that lets defensive ends get way more aggressive. Attack straight upfield. Allen's scheme is more about discipline, more structured. Odeyingbo's struggling to make that switch. Second, and this is crucial, Odeyingbo isn't getting those true one-on-one looks. Because other teams don't respect our pass rush. Why not? Montez Sweat isn't producing, either. When your other D isn't getting it done, other teams can just slide protection and double whoever's left. It's a cycle that only gets worse. But here's what has me frustrated for real. We're paying Odeyingbo serious money. This isn't a bargain bin deal. This isn't let's see what happens. Ryan Poles put real investment here because he thought Odeyingbo was going to be a crucial building block. And right now, we're not seeing that investment pay off. And look, I'm not here to throw the guy under the bus. Odeyingbo still has time to turn this around. But here's the deal. He's running out of time to prove he deserves to be on the field. Because when you're not delivering, when your production drops off this hard, eventually the staff is going to look for other options. And here's the worst part. It's not just Odeyingbo struggling. Our entire pass rush is feeling it. Montez Sweat, who's making even more money, also isn't putting up the numbers we need. And when your top-to-edge rushers can't get to the quarterback, your whole defense is behind the 8 ball. Linebackers have to do more. Corners have to cover longer. Everything gets harder. So I'm telling you now, if we don't start seeing improvement from Odeyingbo soon, if he doesn't start justifying his contract and spot on the roster, we've got real problems. You cannot compete in today's NFL if you can't rush the passer. Can't be done. The best teams in this league have edge guys who make your life miserable. Right now, we're nowhere near that dot, and guess who's coming up? Jaden Daniels, a mobile QB who can make plays with his legs. If we can't get after him, if we let him run and make plays however he wants, Monday Night Football is gonna be a long night. I think this game is huge for Odangbo. He's got to show something, has to make an impact play, has to remind us why Poles brought him here, because if he doesn't, if all we see is more average production, then the questions are gonna start, big time. Not just about Odangbo, but about Allen's scheme, about whether we even have the right guys to run this system, about whether Poles blew it in free agency. And I'm telling you, nobody at Hollis Hall wants to have those talks in October. Now we get to what's maybe the most important news of all. The one with probably the biggest impact on this franchise's future. We have to talk about the offensive line, about Caleb Williams, and about decisions that could shape the Chicago Bears' next 10 years. Braxton Jones is hurt. Our starting left tackle, the guy who was supposed to protect Caleb Williams' blind side, is out. Now let's talk about Ben Johnson's plan A, which apparently is moving Darnell Wright from right tackle to left tackle. And I'll be real with you, this move has me nervous. Look, just so I'm clear, Darnell Wright is a good player. Big, athletic, all the tools to be elite at tackle in this league. But there's a huge difference between playing right tackle and playing left tackle, especially when you're protecting a rookie quarterback who is the future of the entire organization. On the right side, Wright's been solid. Flashes in pass pro, a dog in the run game. But left side is a whole different animal. Everything, footwork, technique, it all gets flipped. And you're getting matched up with the best pass rushers every single week. Here's my main concern. Why isn't Theo Benedette, who's practiced at LT, who finished last game as the main left tackle, getting that spot? Benedette's worked his way up through camp and preseason, grinding at left tackle. He's shown he can handle it. So here's the question. Is this Johnson just trying to get his best players on the field, even if they're in the wrong spots? Because that's the kind of thing that makes me nervous, really nervous. When you've got Caleb Williams back there, the guy you gave up everything to draft, the future of your team, you can't be messing around with experiments on the O-line. Yeah, I get it. On paper, it makes sense. You want your best tackle on the left, on the QB's blind side. But the game's not played on paper. It's played on the field. Out there, chemistry, timing, comfort, that stuff matters a ton. Perfect example, Andrew Whitworth, the legendary left tackle, played right tackle early on with the Bengals. He didn't truly become all-pro until he locked in permanently at left tackle, because he got the technique and timing down for that spot. You can't do that if you're flipping sides every other week. Here's what really makes me sweat. Washington's got edge rushers who'll take advantage of any weakness. If Wright's uncomfortable on the left, if he's thinking instead of reacting, Caleb Williams is in danger. I'm not trying to be dramatic. That's the truth. A rookie QB taking unnecessary shots because the line's out of position is a recipe for disaster. There is another option that Johnson's mentioned, keeping Benedette at left tackle. Right on the right. Benedette's worked for that spot. He's comfortable. Isn't that what matters the most? Having 5 guys in the trenches who are locked in on their jobs and are working as one. Let me say this, the offensive line is like an orchestra. Every guy's got to be in sync. Start shuffling tackles, especially the most technical spots, and you risk losing that connection. And when you go up against good defensive lines, they'll exploit it. And the run game, that's another big issue right now. We're ranked among the worst. Dander Swift's had his moments but hasn't been steady. Rookie Kyle Monange out of Rutgers has flashed but needs more touches. At the end of the day, it comes back to the line. If the O-line's not creating lanes, doesn't matter who's running the ball. Here's the deal. If Johnson flips right to the left and that messes up the line's chemistry, you lose more than just pass pro. The whole offense suffers. Running game, play action. Everything gets harder because now you're stuck adjusting your game plan to the O-line's limits. Let me ask you straight up, would you rather have your best tackle awkward in a new spot, or have 5 guys comfortable and playing at 100% where they belong? Because I'm always choosing option 2. Every time. And this isn't just about this one game against Washington, either. It's about setting the tone for the rest of the year. After Washington, we've got a brutal run. New Orleans, Baltimore, Cincinnati, all with physical, nasty D-lines. If we don't have our O-line figured out now, if we're still experimenting halfway through the year, we're in serious trouble. Ben Johnson's gotta make a decision and stick to it. If you move right, let him settle in there for 4 or 5 games. Let him develop some comfort. If you roll with Benedette at left, give him every snap with the starters. Let him build chemistry with the group. But this wishy-washy back and forth stuff, that's what worries me the most. Bottom line, it all comes down to Caleb Williams. His development, his confidence, his health, it all rides on this offensive line. If we put Caleb in harm's way because we're experimenting with the line, that's downright reckless. This guy is the future of the franchise. Protect him, period. Bears family, after everything we've broken down today, after taking a hard look at these issues with no sugarcoating, I need to know what you're thinking. This is your community, your space to be heard. First question, do you think Dennis Allen has enough time to fix this run defense? Or are these numbers showing problems that can't be solved this season? I want to believe he can do it, but those ugly stats have me genuinely worried. Second question, would you give Odeyingbo more time to get it together? Or are you already scouting for other options at defensive end? Because salary cap's real, folks, and you can't hand big money to guys who aren't producing. And the final, most important question, would you switch Darnell Wright to left tackle to protect Caleb Williams? Or keep Benedette there and have Wright keep doing his thing on the right, where he's comfortable? This is a massive decision for the future of this offense. Drop your takes in the comments right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Because these are the conversations we have to have as a community. We're family here, and families tell each other the hard truths, even when it stings. And if you aren't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? This is the only place you're getting real talk. No sugarcoating, no excuses. Just the truth about your Chicago Bears. We are the most passionate Bears community anywhere on YouTube. And I want all of you here as part of this family. Go hit that subscribe button right now. Smash that like if you appreciate the honest truth. And make sure every Bears fan you know sees this. Because these are discussions that'll shape the way we see the rest of this season and family. Just remember, I'm here every single week, bringing the deepest analysis, the realest hot takes, and the purest love for these Chicago Bears you'll find anywhere. Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, to see the Bears win. To see Caleb Williams grow into a star, and eventually to see this team compete for a ring. Bear down, family. See you in the next one.